time on how Godzilla vs. Kong should have ended.
Didn't quite expect it to work out like that.
Well, what the f do you think it was gonna do, stupid?
It's an axe!
Listen to Brainers, welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today I'll be going over the Godzilla vs. Kong con from Godzilla vs. Kong 2021. Main reason I picked this up is because it's a new figure. I don't have a MonsterArts of this particular con, and also for different releases, so I felt like I had to pick it up. That, and it's just like con figures, especially in the MonsterArts line, the only other one we got was the Peter Jackson. So legendary wise, this guy's it. So definitely kind of a must-have for collectors, I feel. And then he just looked pretty sweet. Like, I think they actually, from what I've seen of the production stuff, did a really solid job, but we'll know a little bit more once we crack into them. And the nice thing, too, is with the release of this movie, there's just way more con merchandise than, like, we've ever had before. Because we got, like, Playmates is making stuff, NECA's making stuff, Bandai's got more con stuff now. We had the Mezco ones previously. Like, there's just, like, a smorgasbord of con merchandise. And almost, like, too much at this point, because you got like Funko Pops and stuff too. But anyways, without further ado, for the packaging, you get Kong here, look like he's about to sock somebody in the mouth, with a lot of the same color scheme as what we've seen in a lot of the other Godzilla vs. Kong merchandise, posters, you name it. If it's got that title, you got these colors with the orange and neons. Top of the package, just some black with the Kong name. This side, burning fire with Kong's name. Opposite side, Kong looking kind of just stagnant with a bunch of mixed colors. On the back of the package, you see Kong's not currently in his prison because we already previously opened him. But you do get Kong some dynamic poses. Shows him with some of the accessories. You can actually get him into the typical gorilla pose. A bunch of stuff I can't understand, and some legal mumbo jumbo on the bottom. But anyways, this is we got him opened up out of his cardboard prison. Let's get into him. Alright, so now that we got Kong opened up out of his cardboard prison, first and foremost, we'll start with his accessories, which he actually comes with quite a bit. First and foremost, he comes with some extra heads, which on the figure you get the standard expression, which is just him looking sort of stoic in a way. Which you get some nicely painted eyes, his lips. It's kind of got a bit of like a frowny face going on. I assume it's more of like stagnant. It's kind of just like his base, like just staring at things expression. But the way he looks from the front, he looks a little bit sad. Which you got his nose, which looks great. His skin tone is closer to a black. Or I would say like a really dark brown. With a slightly less dark brown for the actual fur. And then the rest of the fur on the face looks really nice. And the transition from the skin to the hair also looks really good. If I had one nitpick, I think he's a little glossy for the face, and just like the skin in general is a little bit shiny. Same with the fur, but it's not anything that's super distracting from the figure. And then if you want to swap out the heads, you just lift up with it, comes off of the bowl joint, and then grabbing the extra head, you just want to. It's kind of weird looking at the back of this because it's white, and then you see where like the inserts for the jaw were. And it's kind of the same thing on this. But anyways, you just want to go straight down onto the ball joint, so you just make sure it kind of rests in. Apply a little bit of pressure, pops right in. And then for Rory Kong, eyes are painted pretty nicely. A little bit dark, but still nothing too bad. Mostly has the same thing going on with the hair and the skin coloring, but you'll see that his teeth are nicely exposed. Paint job on the inside of the mouth. It's also really nice where all the teeth are individually painted. You can see the back of his throat if the lighting would let it let it show. And his tongue is a little bit elevated from the back of the plastic there, which is really good. And overall, really nice. Like, for the most part, I imagine a lot of people are going to probably display their Kong like this because you're probably going to set them up in battle poses. One thing that's a little weird is just the way his mouth is open, which is very ape-like. So, I don't know why it kind of throws me off a little bit. But I think it's just like the curvature of the mouth. Like, you would think it'd be like looking at this a little bit more up and down. But it kind of retracts towards the back, which is correct. And then, for his hand accessories, which this hand likes to pop off pretty easy, which isn't, I would say, quite a negative. I mean, for the most part, like, it's not going to flop off, but it doesn't take much effort to get that guy off. But for the hands on the actual figure, he comes with a pair of clenched fists, a pair of open hands if you need to smack your King of the Monster Lizards around, or if you need to block punches, or what have you. Also, it can make it look like he's yawning if you want to. Comes with a pair of walking hands, I guess is the best way to say it, where his fingers are kind of bending in if you want to get him into his gorilla pose and have him walking around. And he also comes with a pair of gripping hands for his axe, which I'll show in a second. But if you want to get him on, you just want to go straight onto the ball joint, apply a little pressure, put him in. Same with if you want to pull him off, you just do the opposite. It's pretty simple to do, especially on this one. This ball joint seems to be a little bit more cooperative when trying to get these on. As you can see, kind of rotating them. Even this hand pops off decently easy, which isn't a big deal. Like, maybe if you plan on doing a bunch of stop motion, I can see that being a little bit frustrating, but if you apply a little more pressure, like, that's staying on a little bit better now. And then for his axe, what we got here is a Godzilla spine attached to a bone, and then it has some wrapping around it to keep it in place. Which you can see for the actual spine is detailed nice. But it also kind of looks like a metal plate. Like, it's very flat in comparison to the Godzilla spine, but it has like the same shape going on. And then with the blue and the light metallic blue on the inside to kind of make it look like it's charged up and ready to go. He's cutting off some Mechagodzilla limbs. And then the top of it is pointed off. And then you can see the nub of whatever creature he got this off of on the bottom, which looks good. To me, though, I don't know, it doesn't look quite bone-like. Like, it almost looks like a piece of wood until you get to the bottom. And maybe would have liked to seen a little bit more color variety, because it kind of blends in with the wrappings and even the outside edges of the axe blade here. So getting into his hands, I'm not actually certain the best way to go about this, because it's not like you can just easily slide that in, but it works. So you can have your Kong with his axe, ready to mess with some days, block some beams, and overall it looks really nice. Now, we might be doing a hammer versus, because I got an extra one of these guys coming in. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet, and that's why hammer versus is a possibility. But like, if I do, I kind of want to double fist him with axes, you know? Just have, like, Kong with all the weapons all the time. Oh, we should get him a gun. I feel like Kong needs a gun. Maybe like a battleship cannon or something. That'd be sweet. But anyways, for his closer look at his details, let's, I guess he could just hold on to the axe. It don't really matter. For the rest of his body, you can see here for his chest, he does have the slashes on the front section here. Though, coloring-wise, it does blend in with the body. But then again, they are scars, so they shouldn't stand out too much. But I maybe would have liked to have seen a little bit of color change for it, just to make it look more like scar tissue than what it is. Because for the most part, the coloring of it really blends into the body. But you do see the Kong belly button right there. And you can see some of his muscle definition peeking through the fur. It's the same with his arms. You can kind of get a little bit of the bicep muscle shape there. And then the fur on the body looks really nice. For the most part, just like the Godzilla, you get some really nice defined edges. Except close to the skin where it should be kind of fading a little bit, if you will. But you can see here, especially on the back, you get a lot of the nice muscle texturing. The fur looks good. And yeah, there isn't really too much else to go over. Like, he looks like a Kong. Legs look good. Same with the positioning of the plastic, I really like too, because for the most part, you don't really get a lot of gapping on him, which is good. Like, depending on how you want to pose his legs, but you can always fix that too. And then even like this section here is loose, so it kind of just shifts into place depending on how you want to pose them. Same with the arms. You don't really get too much weird gappage, like maybe right there. But head looks good. I guess if you kind of have him with a weird angle, you'll get some here underneath his chest region, which, hole. But for the most part, you can kind of adjust accordingly again, just to kind of get it to work. And then for his articulation, heck, look super high up, down about that far. Can whoop, knock that off. A little bit to the left and right. Can't go super crazy. For his shoulders, can go up and down, rotate all the way around, can move back and forth. Not nearly as much as the Ultra X can, but still pretty decent. Rotation top of the bicep, double jointed elbows. Though I've noticed that, at least on mine, you can't fully straighten the arms. Like, he's always going to have a bit of a bend to it. But kind of gives a little more character. A little bit of rotation at the forearm. Hand can rotate forward and back and swivel back and forth. Chest region. Can pretty much, we'll just do the full. You can bend down about that far. Ooh, his plastic messed up. You can go back about that far. A little bit of a side to side motion. You can also rotate at the top. Legs. You can do the splits. Goes in about that far. Nice forward kick. A little bit of a back kick. Like, you can kind of angle it to get it to curve a little bit. Rotation top of the thigh. Double jointed knee. It's a nice bend there. Actually, a really nice bend there. A little bit of rotation. And then the feet can rotate all the way around. Forward, back, and a little bit side to side action. Here's quick comparisons. Here we have the SH MonsterArts Kong compared next to some other Godzilla vs. Kong figures with the SH MonsterArts Godzilla and the Bandai Vinyl Mechagodzilla. And here is next to some other Kong collectibles with the Mezco Kong from Skull Island and the NECA King Kong. Here is next to the Playmates Mechagodzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong and the SH MonsterArts Peter Jackson Kong from 2005, who is definitely much larger. Here's Kong compared next to some random figures that I've worked on with the 3D printed female Muto from the first legendary Godzilla movie, and the bootleg SH MonsterArts Rodate and Mothra from King of the Monsters. And here's next to some Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong figures with the Heat Ray Godzilla and the regular Kong, which I will say there is definitely a world of difference between the two, which I would hope there is. So over the SH MonsterArts Kong 2021, this guy's awesome. I like the accessories that he comes with. For the most part, he has pretty much everything that I would really want the Kong figure to come with, especially with the axe looking good, all the extra hands, maybe like one more extra head if I really wanted to get like the most bang for my buck. Because he's a little bit smaller than a lot of the other MonsterArts figures. Like, this guy's more akin to, say, an SH Figure Arts than a MonsterArts, but for the price point, which states I had to use like $65-70, I think this guy's great. So if you guys were kind of hesitant on picking him up, I would snag him, and especially sooner than later, because with MonsterArts, these guys will get expensive the longer you wait on them. And personally, between this and the Godzilla, I feel like this is the one you definitely need to pick up. Because the Godzilla, like, there's other, the poster version would do you fine with that. And even just the regular 2019 would also work fairly well for this. But there's not really another Kong you're going to replace this. And especially if you were like just thinking of like, well, I'll just have the Playmates. This guy blows the Playmates one out of the water. But what do you guys think? If you guys picked up this figure, what's your favorite Kong figure? Or is Dr. Zayas more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We also have an Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, and Facebook. Guys, like to give the David channel donate. We greatly appreciate it. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. Make sure to hit that notification bell to not miss a video. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.